Videos about the second skill artists use when drawing, observing negative spaces. If you want to see my overview of all 5 drawing skills, check out this video. The easiest way to think of negative space is to remember those children's wooden jigsaw puzzles with the big pieces. The first thing an artist wants to do is make sure they get everything on the paper in the right place. With 4 sides to your paper, you can use the horizontal and vertical edges to help you see the largest angles. Here's the biggest one on the left. I'm asking myself, how far from the edge is this? And this? Now, what is this angle compared to the vertical edge of the paper? I do this with all 4 sides, and this gives me the general area where everything needs to be. These are the largest and simplest negative spaces to start with. And speaking of negative space, I remember the first time I read the Tao Te Ching. There was a verse that mentioned the empty space inside the cup is what allows it to hold the water. My artist mind immediately equated that to the negative space around an object, also defining the object. The empty space inside the cup is as much a part of the concept of cup as the cup itself. Okay, now back to earth. When you're drawing, all you need to do is start with the biggest shapes first, then come back around and look at them in smaller chunks. With this picture of a cat, if we concentrate on the shapes of the negative spaces, we end up automatically drawing the cat without drawing the cat. It's like those optical illusions where you can only see one thing or another. You can't focus on both at the same time. And it applies not just to the overall shape, but to the interior shapes as well. When you start working on the face area, like the eyes and the ears, don't draw them. Draw the shapes around them. Anytime you're struggling with a drawing, it's probably because your dominant brain is trying to force a symbol in there. If you shift your attention to an adjacent space, it will help get you back into the artist's way of seeing. In this next exercise, we're going to use this photo of an old man in a diner. I've made a line illustration from it. There's a link to this picture in the description to download. Pause the video and print it out when you're ready to draw. You'll see all the things that your dominant side loves to name: the head, hair, ear, glasses, arm, watch, hand, shirt, and all the things on the table. For this exercise, we're going to trick your dominant side by turning the picture upside down. When you draw a picture upside down, all of a sudden those things disappear, and all you see are interesting shapes that your artist side loves to draw. First, notice the large negative shape areas. It will help to lightly sketch those in. That way you don't need to erase so much later. Look at these prominent angles and compare them to the edges of the paper. Also, sketch in the horizontal and vertical center lines and observe which lines are close there. Now, with some of these key landmarks in place, go ahead and finish the drawing, paying attention to how close or far away the lines are to the edge of the paper and to each other. Start up at the top and just work your way across and down, moving from shape to adjacent shape. And it's okay if you make a mistake. Feel free to erase if you need to. As you do this drawing, you will feel a strong shift from the dominant side to the artist side, like you did in the previous video. You will probably feel that time has passed and you were unaware. When you slip deeply into the artist's mode of drawing, you should feel peaceful and relaxed. When you're finished, turn your paper right side up and congratulate yourself on how well you did. Every student I've taught has been surprised at how well this turns out. Is my drawing perfect? No, it's a bit wonky. I could have done a better job, but I had two challenges. First, I was recording myself, and that's always terrifying. And second, I wanted to challenge myself by only using this one drawing skill, observing negative spaces. Normally I would use all the drawing skills, but I haven't explained them to you yet. I wanted to see how it might feel for you. What might a realistic expectation be? And are those results still good? And this was a good experience because I clearly remember parts where I felt really connected to that timeless, peaceful feeling of drawing. And I'm surprised at how close it is to the reference picture, despite my not using the next skill that I'm going to show you, observing angles and proportions. The next skill shows you how artists make careful measurements to keep their drawing in proportion. When I look at this wonky drawing, I can see where it's most out of whack. And those are the places where my dominant brain was trying to force symbols and names of things. Here's a good exercise. Take the original drawing and then take your drawing and put them together and hold them up to a window. And you can compare the two. You can see how close you were in places, how far away you were. And this can be really helpful in letting you see the areas you had the most problem with. Even experienced artists aren't immune. We just keep practicing and don't give up. There is always negative space in our drawings. Even when the background is complex, you can always find large negative space areas to begin with. Here's a picture I took while waiting in a parking lot. Look at the space between these two vehicles. If you focus on their edges and the shape of the space between them, you'll be able to position them correctly in a drawing. Don't get overwhelmed with all the detail. You only have to draw the things you want the viewer to focus on. You can hint at the rest with only light, suggestive sketching. Now practice drawing more from your own reference photos. And when you're out and about and have a few minutes to spare, even if you don't have any drawing supplies, you can practice observing the negative spaces around you. If you want a more in-depth look at these drawing skills and more exercises, I highly recommend the book, Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain by Betty Edwards. These ideas aren't exclusive to this book. They've been around for many years. But this book pulls together all these ideas and can have a huge impact on your learning to draw. Just to be upfront, this book and author aren't a sponsor. I just wanted to share it with you. On my channel, my videos cover resources, inspiration, and tutorials for artists. Like and subscribe, and I'll let you know when new videos are available. If you found it helpful, please share it with any friends who are learning to draw. Thanks for watching.